Good afternoon and welcome to PRTV Spurs, Paxton Road TV. It's the reaction show. Liverpool 2, Tottenham Hotspur. Liverpool 4, Tottenham Hotspur 2, should I say. And if you're a Tottenham fan, I think it's just a matter of, think twice. It's just another day in paradise for you and I. Because as we all know, we are woeful at Anfield and it continues. So let's get this on the road. Let's do the reaction show. Yes, good afternoon and welcome from a mild Manchester where I'm doing the stream. And yes, we're in Manchester as Tottenham fans. Why not? Let's bring some of the Southerners down to... Well, I'm not Southern anyway. But anyway, Liverpool 4, Tottenham Hotspur 2. It was another bad away performance. And as always, joining me to analyse and react to the defeat is Sam, Spurs for life, and Tottenham Tifosi, Sean and Sam. Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we? Or should I not be asking that question? Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, you want to talk? Let Sean talk on the stream if you want.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, as the old song goes. It's another tough day as a Tottenham fan yesterday afternoon, and we match a record that we've set back in 2004 with 4 straight defeats. We actually had 6 straight defeats in 2004, so we've got some way to actually match it. But yeah, it's not a brilliant day to be a Spurs fan.
Yes, and yourself, Sam? I know. Before you say anything, let's bring in Darius. 3K, Mr. 3K is in the house as well. Good afternoon, Darius, as well. While you all set up, get Sam to do his
Merry bank holiday. Happy bank holiday. How we doing? How we doing?
Depends if you're a Spurs fan, doesn't it, really? Right, Sam.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Drinking it 12:30, you can tell I'm a Spurs fan, can't you?
I'm lost for words at the moment because obviously we all predicted a defeat when we did the preview show. Not wonderingly, I've said this is probably the first time or the first one I've actually done, even though sometimes you obviously know we don't win every single game. But you obviously go in there with a high degree of expectations, and as I said, it's not so much, and it's just the whole thing. Some of these players, and we can get into it. But no, I'm not feeling very good. I don't want to go into too much now. But yeah, we'll go into it when we go into it. No, I might have a drink in a bit as well.
Darius, how you doing?
You know what? I'm not as mad as a lot of people on Twitter and in our group chats and stuff, because I kind of saw this happening a long time ago. So I'm just sort of, it's just not nice to see us lose, you know, especially since I don't even remember the last time we lost 4 in a row. I think it was 2004, which I don't have recollection of watching Spurs on a weekly basis when I was 4 years old. So I don't remember the last time we lost 4 in a row. And it must not have been great. It must not have been great. So given I know the teams have been difficult, I would say, in that run, it's the performances that I guess we're going to talk about, you know, the one that just gone and maybe the previous ones as well. That's what's concerning me. The performances from the players and the performances from the manager. It's now coming to a point where my concerns 3 months ago are now coming to a point where I'm like, okay, where do we go from here? So I'm sure we'll get into a lot of things, mostly obviously what happened yesterday, but I have a lot, like, I'm now at, like, not crisis. I'm not at crisis yet, but I'm now at, like, okay, panic. I'm at panic mode now. I'm at panic mode.
You're in panic
I
mode.
can't lie to you. It may go away at the start of next season, but right now, recency whatever, I am in panic mode right now, personally.
So I was watching the game because obviously I was at my nephew's wedding yesterday, and then I managed to get in for the game. And I was surrounded by Man United fans that actually live up north and Liverpool fan. And as the game materialised, my nephews were like, Tottenham fans are the most toxic we know. He says, you lot just turn on players left, right, and centre for just because they've had one bad game or 5-10 minutes. He said, I've never known a fan base like your fan base. He said, you lot are mad. He says, seriously. And you won't think they were Man United fans, because some of the things that were going on, they were like, why is Richarlison not starting? And we'll get into all that as well. But
very rich coming from Man United fans, by the way. Very rich.
No, yeah, I know. But I think this toxicity, what you just said as well, Darius, on social media, last night I sort of glimpsed through it, and this morning, it's not positive at all. There's a lot of negativities and there's a lot of anger out already, and people are like,
that's crazy.
They're pressing the panic button already, like you said. They're just going apeshit. But obviously, we'll talk about it more in depth as well. But our fan base just need to take a reality check as well as where we are in terms of what happened in the last season with Harry Kane going. We've brought in a brand new manager. Yes, some people might not have heard of him, but I think the start that Spurs got at the beginning, everyone thought, yes, we're on board. There still are majority on board, but it's just them little minorities, the toxic ones that just keep going on and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I'm going to ask you this question at the end, but obviously where we are at now, are we happy with where we are at now after what happened in the last season? We'll go into that more. But obviously, let's talk about yesterday then. Anfield is not our favourite visiting ground like Stamford Bridge. We don't go there. Sam, I know you said something about, was it, what did you say, positivity or something along about going there with a mindset that we've got to try and get something at Anfield.
Yeah, but when I talk about you're out of form, we know we're not in form. We lost 3 games in a row, so and it should have happened before that. When you're not on form, we're not playing well. There are other factors in football that you can try to put forward, and one of them is, like I said, is a bit of spirit, a bit of fight. You're not playing well. You can't pass 25-yard balls, because I've seen some players can't even pass 5-yard balls at present time. But you're not doing that. The least you can do as a professional footballer is run around. And it sounds silly, and Jamie Carragher says that all the time, and Gary Neville says that all the time. But they're all professionals, and they know what that means, because you can't always play. You can't always be on form every single time. The biggest thing for our team at the moment is inconsistency. So if you've got inconsistency in performance, to level that out, you have to put effort in. 3 games in a row now, we've not had a shot on target in the first half. We had 1 shot, I believe, in total in that first half. I might be wrong. And 50-odd% possession, whatever it was. That's not good enough. And I'm sorry, that's on everybody, the players, the management, everybody. Because if you can't be up for a game which you at least know you've got to try and get something from, then there's no hope. There's really no hope. And we probably had the no hope anyway. So that's the disappointing thing for me. The fan base calling for Ranjao, that's ridiculous, those sort of things. I can understand why people are doing it because of what they might have seen, but we understand that this is a transitional phase in terms of the way that teams play. The problem being that the first 10 games gave us a warm and shining light about what we think we're going to get. And the problem being is, if it was in reverse, I think we'd all be like a little bit more, well, that's all right, not too bad, because I mean, we had a bad start. But because of where we are now, it's problematic. And Darius has said it, I think we are at a bit of a crisis point, because history suggests that when the fans start turning as they do in this sense, and it's like questions and conversations, it tends to lead one way, and I don't want that to happen. So yeah, I'm not very happy with everything at the moment.
Yeah, sorry if I had to leave there, because I've got the window open and he was just kicking off outside, and I don't know if they were talking about
Manchester, isn't it? It's
Manchester, man. It's this, yeah. I thought I got away with it from London coming to Manchester, but it's happening right outside the front door, man.
Shouldn't they be heading to Crystal Palace anyway?
Yeah.
No, they're all down there already, aren't they? They're in London, so it don't matter. So,
Oh, that is such that we really shouldn't be repeating that myth. That myth is terrible because when they did a survey, Manchester United ticket holders lived in Greater Manchester. So
we just like taking the piss. We just like taking the piss. I do anyway.
Same.
Right.
But anyway,
Oh.
but that makes us a banter club, and then we get it back more than fivefold. I just think it's a really poor mentality, to be honest. But anyway, that's just me.
Right. So before we move on to the actual stats and everything from yesterday's game, Darius, Sean, do you want to add anything to what Sam just said, or shall we move on?
No, oh, sorry, go on, Darius.
No, I just said not much to be fair.
No, I just think this is a time for calm heads and a bit of rationality. Do we really want? If we get rid of our manager, what do we want? Who?
Oh, I don't want him gone. I don't want him gone. I'm just
but I mean, I am not prepared for us to just ditch him on the basis of 9 months. I just think, by and large, we've had a better season than we could have expected after losing Harry Kane the day before the season started, and the toxicity which existed post Conte. So I just think, and this is, again, as Juice Nuts has made it, our fan base is mad. We're mad. Look at even Klopp had time to build his team. Guardiola didn't make an instant success at City. It's just, we're expecting too much. We've got world-class ownership in terms of infrastructure, but we've got National League type ownership in terms of building a football club. And I think we need to be rational. We need to invest in the manager, and we need, and I don't think we're going to be dropping £100 million on a player. We need more than one player, and you can't bust a budget on one player. It's not going to make a difference. We need good homegrown players to redevelop. We're back at the stage of when Martin Jol, who suffered those 6 defeats, by the way, in 2004, got us back into Europe for the first time in eons. We're really back at that stage. We need to invest in this manager. Let's not get carried away.
Of course not.
Yesterday and the 3 previous matches were very, very disappointing. And has to carry some of the blame for that. But let's not get stupid. I'm not up for another change of manager. I just can't go through that anymore. I'm sick of it. When things get hard, we just change the manager.
I think also as well is everyone keeps saying about Arsenal with Arteta, Liverpool with Klopp. Yes, they're changing managers, but what we've got to realise, and at some point it's a reality check, even before these managers came in, they've won trophies. Yeah, they've won trophies. They might win one a season, but they've won trophies. We've not won anything for 20 odd years. So you can bring in a new manager. 6 months down the line, it's going to be the same, because Spurs fans, for some, I don't know what it is, they think a manager's going to come in and we're going to win the trophy straight away, blah, blah, blah. And then if it doesn't happen, it goes straight back to, Arsenal bought him and he's done this and Klopp's done this. They come in, they've spent the money, they've got decent money to spend, but there's a history of trophies behind them. And it's like you said, there's no in terms of winning trophies. And also, we mentioned it on the preview show, we've now got to get players into this squad. That mentality changes where we're going to play the team, not the occasion. There's too many games we're going to where we're just playing the occasion. Stamford Bridge is one of them. Anfield is another one. We'll talk about it. Yesterday's game, how many of them players actually, in your opinion, I don't know, wanted to play that game? And we'll talk about that because I was just chatting to a Liverpool fan, and I'll tell you what he said. He was at the game as well, and I'll give you his. And this is a Liverpool fan, right, who's watched the game, nothing to do with Tottenham, but he was telling me his opinion of the Spurs manager, players, and some of the mentality that he saw on the pitch. Sam, let's bring up then yesterday's. I mean, look, usually saying here, Arsenal, hard to say, hate to say, but Arsenal stuck with Arteta.
Yeah, but they spent a lot of money. We're not going to spend 700 million in 5 years. So
I would also like to add to that.
I don't really.
Yeah,
I spent 100 million on a centre mid this season.
I'd rather not use Arteta as the comparison, because Arteta, first job, just out of blah blah, coming from Manchester City, the youngest manager in the Prem at the time, 30 whatever he was, being put in charge of Arsenal. I think there's more of a claim to kind of compare Klopp's team, or when Klopp started, to and now. But I think the Arteta thing, I personally don't believe so. And Darius is right. They spent a lot more money. Liverpool as well. I can get some understanding as to the degree of actual, patience that the Liverpool fans had, because again, they did have some success in Europe previously with some of them, other Gerald Houlliers, all the rest of them. So they had success. They had some form of success when Klopp had come in. Maybe not within the Premier League, and that's what they wanted to do. But
let's be honest as well, Sam. When did that project really kick on? When they dropped 75 on Van Dijk and 65 on Alisson.
Yeah.
So money revolves around
100%.
Everything.
We can't.
We're not going to spend the money, so we're not spending 75 million on a centre back.
But then that's
but they had it, Darius. They had that money.
Exactly.
They sold Coutinho for 140 million.
But we sold Kane for 100 million. We sold Kane for 100 million and bought Brennan Johnson for 49. So everything that we're saying, we're going to sell players this summer. We got that money as well. We haven't spent it correctly. We don't want to spend the big money on one player because it seems like too much of a risk. We get the Vuskoviches, we'll get the Bergvals, but we don't know if they're going to be good. We knew Declan Rice was going to be good. That to me, that's less risky than spending 20 on a Bergval and 20 on a Vuskovic. So to me, I don't think we're doing it right. And the way that we play, the system that Ange plays, requires 16 elite ball players, and that ain't going to be cheap. And I don't see us spending the money. This is why I'm in panic mode, because I'm trying to see a way out of this, and I don't at the moment. Unless we spend money, I don't see a way out of it.
And this is why I said I've got thoughts about the whole thing, because you can't put everything onto Ange, you can't put everything onto players, you can't put everything onto the board. It's a combination of all those three things. The problem being is we have history and we have things that we can look back on to kind of say what the future is going to look like for us. We've got financial fair play, whatever they're going to call it now. That is set in stone. We're spending up to our limits pretty much on what we can spend based on turnover and profit and all the rest of it. So I don't think just having another sugar daddy come is going to make any difference to us. People think that, get rid of the owners, get rid of the owners, we'll get new money in. Don't work like that. Newcastle did that. They're not going to be flying because of regulations that have been put in place. I've also seen that these players are not good enough. They're not consistent enough. We haven't really got a world-class player at the moment. If you want to class Son as that player, you can do. But Son's not getting better at the moment. So let's start talking realist now. We've got a lot of shite to do in the transfer window, and it ain't going to get done in 1, 2, or 3, or even 4. So how patient are we as Spurs fans? Do we just want to see nice football leading up to something? Or do you want to win something? Because I don't want my manager to tell me that the league is more important to me than winning a trophy of any kind. Because that's where you're going to get the mentality change from these players. Our mentality of a club is fucked. And that's where we're never going to sort that out until, we get rid of all the players that don't have that.
And that's why I don't want Ange out. He's the right man to change a culture in the club. But what I'm saying is he needs help. He needs a lot of money. He needs a lot of money.
It's
right. And you know what? We can do this about that later on. I think after the season's finished, because we can talk a lot about transfers and players and stuff like that. So going back to yesterday's game, then first off possession again, 57% possession at Anfield to Liverpool's 43%. We've said this week in, week out. There's going to be the last 10 games, if I go by it, we've out-possessed every single team, home or away. Yeah, so to have 57% possession at Anfield on a normal day is very good. However, look at this then. 14 shots Liverpool had, Spurs had 1. They had 4 off target and 8 on target. We had 1 off target and not 1 shot on target. And I think that's 3 games in a row now where we've not had a shot in the first half. Yes, Jews, we were 30 minutes late, but we did change the time to 12:30. We're not like Liverpool where we just turn up for the second. We're not like Tottenham where we just turn up for the second half. We had to change the timings. They had 12 shots inside the box, 2 outside. We had 1 outside the box. 84% pass success rate out of 231 for Liverpool. Spurs had 324 with 88% success rate. Passes in the other half, Liverpool had 123, Spurs had 127. We had 7 touches in their box. They had 31. Sean, that do you know what? Everything aside, that is horrendous for a first half.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, you know, we've become possession hotspur, but it's not possession with any cutting edge.
I like that one, Sean. I might have to take that one.
Yeah, and it's like it makes no difference if you're not having a shot on goal. You can have all the possession in the world, and I mean, it's what you do with that possession, and we just weren't breaking the lines. We weren't, our passing was, it was quite meh. 88% is, that's probably been inflated by the number of times that Van der Ven and Romero had to pass across the box to each other. It's just ridiculous. Just a very poor show. And yeah, even in the first 15 minutes prior to their goal, I thought we looked quite bright. There was some elements of probably what Ange wants us to play, but as soon as that goal went in, it was backs. It was backs to the wall, and it continued that way to 60 minutes, and by then it's the game's done.
It was like every time they attacked, I was hiding behind the sofa because I thought, here we go, they're going to go. Darius, in your opinion, 1 shot in a 45, 49 minutes of football, whether you're home or away, shocking, isn't it?
I think it sums up Spurs pretty much perfectly, those stats. We are so desperate to score the exact same goal every single time we attack.
Yeah.
It is boring to watch, but like if it works, it looks amazing. For example, the Richarlison goal. If it comes off, it looks amazing. And that is, the end goal of what we want to achieve. But it is so predictable and so boring. It's left, right, find an opening and whip it across the box and try and find a tap in. Ange wants the most high percentage opportunities at goal, which is why I don't think we shoot as much outside the box. We have players like Son and Maddison who shooting outside the box shooting numbers have gone down this season. I think that's as a result of us wanting to play this way. If we're going to do that, we're going to need to have a little bit more quality up front. And again,
a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to need a drastic amount of quality up front. And again, I don't know if that is down, who concedes first? Do you go and get Ange a brand new front three, or do you concede your tactics? And I don't think he should. I don't think that's Ange's fault necessarily. I do think some of the chances that are squandered by our forward players are unforgivable at times. But at the same time, we do need to see a difference if it's not working. And it wasn't working. Clearly, we couldn't get any shots off. We didn't want to get any shots off. And we still held the ball. So, and weren't even in their box necessarily with the ball. So, yeah, it's a bit concerning, but there's no single person you can blame necessarily, but everybody has to take some responsibility. And like I said, like Drew says, Ange has to take responsibility for that predictable style. But our players also, if they were of better quality, I think there'd be a lot more chances going in for us.
But even if better quality, sorry, I just wanted to add on to that point, because we're getting to the point where I understand the Ange thing is great. I love Ange and I want him to succeed. I've said it on many, many occasions. I think he's quite arrogant, and that's not a bad thing. But at this moment in time, that arrogance mixed with the fact that he's very stubborn and also very honest and truthful in his assessment when he comes into the press conference. The media love him. That's why they love him, because now they can get to him, because they're going to know they can ask certain questions about him. We all know that we haven't got enough quality in the team. We haven't got the consistency. I don't know about you guys. I don't want to see us lose 4 games in a row. We have done. I don't want to see us lose another one.
Yeah.
So there has to be some change.
And this thing
about saying that we're going to keep on playing the same way regardless is great. As long as we accept that this is what's going to happen, because it's going to happen all the way to the end of the season now if that's going to be the case, because the players are not good enough. Injuries have curtailed that for us. So in my opinion, Ange should be honest with himself and also to the media, and it's not taken away from anything. If it was me, and I'm not saying this is the be it, I'd actually go to the press. You know what? The players I have here, because he's alluded to it in some degree, are not good enough consistently to play the way I want to play. So I might have to think about tweaking something in my system. It doesn't have to use the word philosophy. Just use the word tweak something in my system. Because we said yesterday or the day before when we did this, if you'd have put 3 at the back, you're going to protect Emerson Royal. I said that. You play 3 at the back with Dragerson on the right-hand side, centre-back being Romero, and the left-hand side being Van der Ven. You will protect him because that's all they're going to do. It's not rocket science. And this is why I get frustrated watching it, because I know we all knew that left-hand side there, right-hand side was going to be targeted. And when you've got one of the best players in the world playing on that side who's got something to prove, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? And then when we're 4-0 down, that's when we bring on subs. And we get 4-2. Everybody's like, okay, well, we could have... Fuck off. 4-0 down, I'll be like, I wouldn't even have to coach my team after 57 minutes. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to get into an uncomfortable conversations part 4, because there's more than just to say, okay, well, we can let the rebuild. Sorry, you can do things now. The players can do things now. And I'm not just putting it on Ange, I'm putting it on some of these players as well.
Some of the players can't be here anymore. Some of the players aren't cut out to play this way.
And said it. He said they're losing belief.
That's what I'm saying.
Once you start losing belief in any system, you are in a lot of trouble. A lot of these players have lost belief because they're thinking, we lost 4 games on the trot, and he's telling us to play the same way pretty much. But if you think about that second half, we'll get into the second half. We did something differently. We'll get into that when we talk about the second half.
So
first half, that is shocking.
If we've done the first half, we might as well just do the goals then for the first ones, right? So the first one, obviously, you've already touched on it, Sam. That left side was going to be an issue, and we brought it up in the preview show, myself, you and Sean. We did say that Emerson Royal is going to need help, right? Because Salah, probably one of the best right-sided players in world football.
Proven world-class player in that side.
He had a spat last week, and he had an issues with Klopp. He didn't start the game. You knew at Anfield he was going to come and he was going to be on it. And when he probably saw that I'm playing against Emerson Royal. Now, I'm just going to put it up there before everyone and anyone wants to have a thingy. But Jude's Nuts' comment here. Before we have a go, Royal, please remember he played out of position. He's not a right back. He's a right back, not a wing back, centre back, left back. We know he's limited, but don't slag him off. Best if he moves. Now,
he doesn't want to move. He doesn't want to go. He spent £1 million to stay at Spurs. We're not getting rid of him unless they're going to cut his contract off. We're not getting rid of him. So when we say that he's going to be a squad player, he's going to have to play.
And but he would be all right filling gaps off the bench at 70. But like
this is the gap we had to fill because we've got no left back. So
he's got to be a third choice.
Choose him. He didn't choose himself. He didn't choose himself to play.
But in all fairness, first 10, 15 minutes, you probably saw what was going on. Where's your left-sided winger or whoever assisting him? Yeah? Sean, you brought this up before. What game was it where they doubled up on a player? I can't remember who it was. But De Bruyne's, Saka's, I think it was Saka we said. Teams are doubling up on him because they know how good he is. the Arsenal goal against us, we were saying that Ben Davies should have had someone to help him, so don't bring him on. Yesterday, Mo Salah, you knew what was going to happen. Why isn't anyone helping Emerson Royal at the back? They were leaving him out to dry, and that first goal proved it, right? So, you know, and you give them man's opportunities like that, that's what they're going to do. Even the second goal, the Harvey Elliott goal as well. Bissouma is just running. He's not even coming into close. So I was frustrated. And yes, you can blame Emerson Royal. Yes, he's not a left back. But like you said, Sam, if you're a squad player, you should be able to adapt to certain positions. However, you still need someone else to help a player in them kind of situations. Sean, what's your take on the first goal and the other two goals in the first half?
Well, I mean, it's been done to death on TV, so I don't really need to cover the first goal. I mean, he took one look and then just didn't keep an, you know, didn't appreciate that Salah was going to come in and score with that header. I mean, Vicario could probably have done better, to be fair. He kind of fell backwards. But, yeah, I mean, you know, without the warning, I mean, Salah had already hit the bar before he scored that goal. You know, and
he hit the post as well, didn't he?
And it's you know, it was just a comedy of errors, you know, and you know, it just exposed Emerson for the kind of limited player that he is. You know, unfortunately, he's not as you know, he's capable at right back sometimes of putting in a good performance. I remember in the period, you know, when we pipped Arsenal for the Champions League, him and Sanchez of all people did a very passable job in that North London derby, you know, and we got to fourth. But you know, he's just not, you know, he's just not a good footballer, and he's one of those players that we've picked up along the way, and he's proved to be just, you know. He's been good for Richarlison's mental health, maybe. But apart from that,
good for our mental health. He's not been good for our mental health, though, Sean.
Yeah. I was possibly going on to say that, Sam, but never mind.
Oh, sorry. He's done my head in for too many years now.
But he's, you know, he's just not good enough, you know, and it goes to show when you play a number six, a much maligned Oliver Skipp in that position, and how much better did we look when you have a player that can pass the ball, who's equally as right-footed as Royale is. Did a great job, and I'm not having any shade on Oliver Skipp, because I thought he did a great job.
And his system is. Sorry, no, carry on, Sean. Sorry, Sean.
And so, yeah, I mean, it was a disaster waiting to happen, and it's no wonder that, you know, it all kicked off between him and Romero at half time. You know?
Heard about that as well. Yeah, I think Sean raises a great point about the Oliver Skipp thing, because I'm not the biggest Oliver Skipp fan, but it just highlights that Ange's system it's positionless for the players based on their qualities and what they, you know, what they can do with the ball. So, for example, you know, you look at Udogie and Skipp, and not to say that they're similar, but they're both better passers than Emerson, better defenders than Emerson. Skipp, if he had to invert, you could see Skipp inverting because that's the position he plays. It crazily makes more sense to play Skipp as a left back than it does Emerson Royale, and I don't know if that's looks bad on Royale or it looks good on Skipp to be able to play that, but for me, it made more sense, and that sounds crazy to say. So yeah, I just think that was a good point to make. That I would going forward, if we've got no left back for the rest of the season, which it seems we don't, I'd rather see Skipp play left back. I'll be so honest with you.
Listen, if we see Emerson Royal play at that position again for the rest of the season, is a problem for me. There is a major problem because we've got nothing to play for. He should have seen his last game. We should never see that guy play for Spurs again. In my opinion, I'm not saying it because I just want to just get rid of it. We've seen that he's not good enough. If Skipp can come in and do what he did at left back, then there's no hope for Emerson Royal. As well as that, what have we got to play for? we really should be beating Burnley, and we really should be beating, at least not losing to Sheffield United. So that's 4 points in itself, which gets us that 5th place. But in any sense, Chelsea have got the same goal difference as us. Let that sink into people. Chelsea are what? 6 points behind us? 7 points behind us? Let that sink into people. And all the problems that Pochettino's had, and people say, oh, well, he's got £1 billion worth of players. He's got a world of problems more than we have. But at least what I saw with them players that did for him when they played, they at least give him some spirit. They listened to what he had to say. And the players that came on, the players that we didn't even know about, he only had 11 to pick for, at least give the fight. This is what I'm saying. If we're going to bring players in now, we may as well bring in some youngsters, players that ain't played. I want to see if Lo Celso's got no fight. He's been here 5 years. Maybe he's the player, not the managers. But we don't know that because we ain't seen enough of him this season. Let Skip play in that number 6. Skip played there for Norwich. I said I'm like those. I'm not his biggest fan. But Basuma's been awful. I'm not letting him get away with it either. I'm not letting Sarr get away with it. And I'm not letting Bentancur get away with it. Maddison as well. So you took about 4 players in there in your midfield, and we've only got then Højbjerg and Skip to rely on. What's going to happen? If players lose belief, we've got a problem. So we need to get this fixed in the summertime by our whole philosophy relies on quality. Our whole philosophy relies on quality if we don't have heart. We haven't got heart. We can't get rid of all these players to get the heart in. So we've got to think, what do we need to do to adapt for next season? That's the question that Andrew's got to answer. Not me, but I think I know what we need to do.
Chelsea have got a lot of players that are, and when they bought them players, they've actually bought players to play in them positions. They're not playing players out of position. That's the problem. They've got
Chelsea. Sorry, Sid.
I was going to say they've got a squad of about 400 players, 55 players in each position. So when players are getting injured, they've got players coming straight in, slotting into that position because it's naturally their position. We haven't got, unfortunately, them amenities or whatever you want to call it.
But Poch has been playing people in all kinds of positions. That was one of the things that was said. He was playing players that shouldn't be playing there. He's just trying to find a way, because what he does is, I need to see if this player can do a job for me. Just like what we did by playing Oliver Skip there for 20 minutes or whatever it was. Try something different. I keep saying, we've all said it. We knew what was going to happen with Emerson Royal if you don't protect him. We knew. Klopp knew.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Ange knew. But again, this is what I'm trying to say. Is it because we're trying to prove a point, or the system is so reliant on we have to have these pieces in place regardless? To me, that's a problem. That is a problem. Without the quality. With the quality, I agree. If you've got 16 players that you can line up, there's about 2% difference between who starts and who comes on as sub. You've got pretty much a good. But even then, you're still going to need a bit of luck with that, because you get injuries and suspensions.
Right, so that was just summing up kind of first half performance. We obviously all knew what was going to happen. Is he going to change it at half time? We need to bring subs on, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know what happened. Whether he didn't make the half-time substitutions. So let's have a look at the second half then. Obviously, we're a team like two halves. We don't play first half. We come out second half. And like yesterday, it was done and dusted 3-0. There's no way you're coming back from 3-0 against Liverpool. However,
we were 4-0 down when the first subs were made.
4-0, yeah. 54% possession. Liverpool had 46 in the second half. They had 11. We had 10 shots. 4 off target for Liverpool. Spurs had 2. They had 5 on target. We had 6 on target. They had 7 inside and 4 outside shots. Spurs had 5 and 5. 199 passes. Liverpool at 82% success rate. Spurs had 243, 84%. 57 passes in the opposite half. Spurs had 102. And look at this one now. 17 touches. We had 24 touches in the half. Darius, as always, it's been a game of two halves for Spurs, hasn't it?
Yeah. Again, take from those stats what you want.
Yeah.
It's nice to see us really play a bit of football, but when you're 4-0 down, I don't really care. I actually don't care. So for me, it's like it doesn't matter to me. If we'd shown this fight 70 minutes, 60 minutes before, then we might have had a chance in this game. And I know it's Anfield, and I know we're on a dirty run of form, but yeah, I don't really care, to be honest with you. Like it it shows that we need to. It shows that Ange needs to make subs earlier. It shows that certain players do not impact the team at all. It doesn't put much positivity. It doesn't add much of a positive spin for me. But I guess you could say, yeah, we had more shots. We looked threatening. There was positives to take from the football, but when you're 4-0 down, and especially the way we conceded that Gakpo goal, an easy header, the Elliott goal, you can excuse that. That was an incredible finish, top corner. Can't really say anything. And in saying that, I don't think Vicario really should get much slander. Or, I know the first goal people say, or Gary Neville said that he could have done better, but again, Vicario made 8 saves today. He had 11 shots on target faced at him. So I think he did all right, to be fair. I think he's probably one of our best players. So I just don't think it doesn't say much to me. It's not great. We're 4-0 down when we decided to turn up. So I guess start how we finished and it might have been a better outcome.
61 minutes, like you said, Sam. 61 minutes when you made the triple substitution. But we've seen this before. We've done the reaction show many times, me, yourself, and Sean. Second half, possession-wise, shots-wise, this is the norm, isn't it, for us?
I don't know who wants to speak because I think I've said enough.
No, okay. Sean? You're on mute, Sean. Are you not on mute?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, curiously, I know we tend to call ourselves second half Hotspur or whatever. And actually, our half was split in the first 15 minutes of the first half and the last 30 minutes of the second half. That's when we were, that's when we were in the game, or at least trying to be part of the game. To be fair to Ange, he was going to be making the substitutions at 3-0, and they scored again. Yeah, so they were waiting. There's loads of pictures of them waiting on the sidelines. So it's a nightmare to. But what a difference. I know people say Richarlison's not the answer, but what a difference he made when he came on. Hold up play. He was annoying. He was getting in amongst it. He scored. He was the pantomime villain. Loved it, and a great cameo performance. But again, it's not good enough. You can't dominate possession and not have shots in the first half like we did. And the possession's a bit more even in the second half. But again, it's the game's gone. But the game's gone after 60 minutes, and how much did we get back into the game because Liverpool took their foot off the gas? Possibly that's a factor as well. But lots of good questions being posed in the comments, I notice, as ever. It's just another tough day, but I would say if you value your sanity, stay off of social media today. Find some sunshine on a bank holiday Monday.
Not go on Twitter right now.
Yeah, touch grass, whatever. Go and find a
bare feet, touch the grass.
Do the final side of the.
Find yourself a country pub with a nice glass of something or other. Yeah, I mean it's.
You know what. Sean, you've really opened my eyes a lot today with some of the things he said. I think when you mentioned that Richarlison thing about him having such a good impact off the bench, I think the issue with Spurs is midfield going from midfield forward, maybe excluding James Maddison. I think if all of those players were bench players coming off and making impact, we'd love them. They're not good enough to be starters in this system. But if all those players were coming off the benches, like Richarlison's, Kulu's, Son's, Basuma maybe, I think we would be okay with them. I think we wouldn't be too mad at them, but Johnson as well. But I just don't think they're starter quality for a system like this. It's such a meticulous system that requires such high quality ball players. I just think that a lot of these players would have much more impact like they do off the bench.
If I'm right in thinking, when we made them 3 substitutions, did we not then change personnel position-wise? Did we not put Johnson from the left-hand side to the right?
Yeah, he should never play on the
left.
left.
Then went to the left.
Yeah.
Richarlison went through the middle. Kulusevski went back into 10 position, didn't he? Or did he come off? I can't remember. I lost 4. But I do know that happened.
No,
the other thing
was
He came off 61.
Yeah.
Okay, right. He came off.
Emerson Royal came off in 61 for Emerson for Skip, Richarlison, and Maddison.
What you also have to notice about what we did that made us a little bit more potent, if you notice in the game, we played a little bit more direct. The runs that Richarlison were making were on the edge of the shoulder because Liverpool are playing a high line. We know that because they told us that. Klopp tells us that, and he shows us that every single week. They play a high line, or shall I say, an aggressive defensive line. An aggressive defensive line. They try and hold their positions for as long as possible to squeeze and condense the play. So the way to get around that, and I've said this, is 3 ways to attack in football. You can go through, you can go around, you can go over the top. We couldn't go through, and we tried that all day. We couldn't go around, and we tried that all day because we got shit wide players at the time. What we could do is play the ball over the top. The more space is there. We've got someone who's willing to run in behind. I keep saying these things. It's not hard. Football is not hard. But if you're going to stick to a system with substandard players, expect this. We didn't have to have that yesterday. We did not have to have a Tonkin to be 4-0 down at 61 minutes. We didn't need to have that. I can tell you that for sure because you could have played slightly different. Not having to do anything regarding your philosophy, but slightly adapting. Mix it up. We mixed it up yesterday. I saw loads of opportunities with Richarlison making that curve run. Now, he's been offside a lot more often than not in previous times, but he was actually making some fucking good runs yesterday. Really good runs. And against a team what you know is going to do that, you've got to play to the strengths of the players, man.
Do you know when Richarlison scored, I thought he was offside.
Yeah, he definitely looked it.
Yeah.
To me, he looked offside. But,
he did.
You know.
But lines proved it up. Overall, then, 56% possession. We had 11 shots, 3 off target, 6 on target, 5 inside, 6 outside the box, 567 passes, 86% percentage success rate, 229 in the opposite half and 31 in the opposite box. Let's go to the lineup, Sam, then, because we've done the stats on.
We've done them to death.
We've done them to death.
Don't bring them back.
Yeah.
What's Cole Palmer doing there?
I don't know.
Oh, what are you doing with Cole Palmer? You trying to you pissing with us? You trying to tell us who's that?
We'll never get that. We're never gonna have.
We're never getting him. I'd love him, but we're never getting him. Anyway,
yeah,
sorry.
It's the future's bright.
Let
me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys a quick question. Bearing in mind they cost the same money, if we could go back in time with the knowledge that we had, would you have taken Cole Palmer over? Actually, no. Without the knowledge that you had, would you take Cole Palmer over Maddison? Without knowing he would have done what he did, but knowing he was a good player, would you have taken him?
I wouldn't have.
Not without knowing. Obviously, hindsight's great, but without knowing, I would have taken Maddison. All day.
Even the fact that he's 5 years younger, 6 years younger.
No, I
didn't know enough about Palmer. I knew enough about Maddison, but I didn't know enough about Maddison in the same way I didn't know enough about Bissouma. It's what I'd seen, not having been a fan. And people are saying this about us, are saying, oh, what you were saying, Sid, about your Liverpool mates and Man City family saying about, oh, why is he not playing? But we've seen enough of these players to know why they're not playing or why they should be playing and the rest of it. When you see it, a game like when we were watching Leicester last season, oh, fucking hell, Maddison's brilliant. When I used to watch Brighton, oh my God, Bissouma. When you watch him up close, now we see why possibly they haven't been moved on quicker.
I agree though. Maddison is important, but like I said, the only thing that concerned me was the injury and the injury issues that he's had in his career. And obviously, I think the injury has affected him, and I do have a lot of faith that Maddison will be back to his best next season. Yeah. So. Yeah, I've got all the faith that Maddison is a little bit of rehab, a little bit of rehab. And Bentancur as well for that matter.
This team then that was selected at 3:30. I was in the wedding venue, and when I saw this team, people thought there was something going on outside because I was going apeshit, and I just left the building because why? Are you playing a player that does not want to play on the left, can't play on the left, is crap on the left, but you still persist and put him on the left? And then the middle three as well, it was just like, we discussed this, didn't we, Sean and Sam, on preview day. The front three and the middle three could be anything. It's just a Russian roulette, isn't it, where you're going to put them in, whoever comes out top, and he plays them. But the biggest annoying one was obviously the left. We knew Emerson Royal was going to play Sam, so you knew that.
Sid, just ask you a question. How comes all of the midfield three that he picks at the moment aren't performing? You might get one or two,
Yeah.
but all of them? Because none of them yesterday played well between Saar, Basuma and Bentancur.
Exactly.
They could have all come off at half-time. Some people are saying Basuma had a good game. I didn't see it.
No.
Not if you're 4-0
I
down.
think, to be fair, Sam, to be fair, I think Basuma did have spells when he was playing well, but it you know, like you say, it's not sustained. It's not sustained. And the fact that he picked the same midfield from Thursday night, when we saw how we've been, you know, taken for mugs by Pochettino, I was like, oh my God, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, put that 3 in and then having Royal at left back, I thought, oh God, this is going to be a very, very long afternoon. And it
was
turned out
no,
to
like,
be
I
great.
understand Maddison's not playing well, but if you're going to drop Maddison, you got to supplement that creativity, should I say. And
Can I not
truly,
say the number
played the
18? The number 18 comes on and he plays brilliantly.
Gio would have been a good option as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll do the
That's
subs
the
in a
shout.
minute. Let me just give you a quote. Yeah, this is again my mate who went to the game yesterday on Basuma. He said to me, who was that number in the middle? And I went, that's Basuma. He went, what is that guy's problem? I went, why? He went, constantly moaning and whining. And he said he was constantly going down. He said, what the fuck was wrong with this guy? He said at one point, Son had to go up to him. He said he put his arm around him and he says, I love the way Son done it. He didn't shout at him. He didn't screw at him. He just had a quiet little word to say to him, kind of, what the fuck are you doing, Basuma? Get on with the game. He said he was constantly, and he said everyone around him, Liverpool fans, was saying the same thing. What is Basuma doing? Why is he constantly moaning and dropping down? And I'm like, I have no idea. So this was
a stupid yellow card as well. Another stupid yellow card, kicking the ball away.
Yeah.
Are we going to say trademark yet? Trademark stupid yellow card from Basuma? Or is it not trademark yet?
Weren't it? And this is it. So this is Liverpool fans saying this, right? And I said to him, look, that's how he is. He said, why did he even play? I says,
time to go for me. Fortunately, these are the difficult, uncomfortable
why did
conversations.
Brandon Johnson play on the left? And said Sean, uncomfortable ones, yeah. Going back to what you said, Sean, he said to me, this is what he actual words, why the fuck was Richarlison on the bench? He said he is our nemesis. Every time he plays against us, he causes us problems. He said, I watched him when he came off the bench. He said the runs he was making, he said unbelievable runs this guy was making. He said, why didn't he start? And I went, I don't know. Guys, can you answer that question? Why didn't he start? You're playing Liverpool. He's played for Everton, so he's their nemesis. And he said he always has a good game against Liverpool. So why wouldn't you start him?
Could this be a degree of stubbornness in terms of trying to show the board? I hope this isn't the case, because we shouldn't have these battles already. We shouldn't have these battles between the management and the board so early. But it can only be the manager trying to make a statement here, that because we saw what happened when he came on. We also saw what happened with Johnson when he goes to the right-hand side. Everything looks a little bit more balanced. Son hasn't been playing as a number 9 very well. The midfield that we saw yesterday that started, the same midfield three that had a roasting against the team before then. We start the same midfield. The same midfielder that I called out saying, I think he's world-class, definitely better than Declan Rice. He's making me look like a proper mug. He's making me look like a mug. And you know who's reminding me of? Musa Sissoko. When we had Sissoko, he was like brilliant. Wow, fantastic. Then I started to watch him carefully and think, this player's, he's a charlatan, as they say. He's charlatan because
he's protected by the players around him, isn't he?
Because everybody else around him is the one. When you watch Basuma, and I said it yesterday, I watched it yesterday, Saar ran back and tackled the player close to the box when Basuma's running right next to him. Saar was 20 yards back. Watch it, play it back. He got there before, and Basuma was standing next to him 5 yards to the right and didn't make a tackle. That's the level of player that we've got in our system now. And if we've got that sort of player thinking he's too good for us, we've got another Ndombele stroke Sissoko on our hands.
And let
Time
me
to
add to
go.
this.
Major problem, lads. Major
Time to
problem.
And I'll also add to this. Darius, you said Harvey Elliott's goal was class, top bins. When you watch it again in replay, look what Bissouma's doing.
I know. That's what I don't want to say. So when people say he had a good game or he played well, doing what? Because the things that you need to do to stop them scoring, you didn't fucking do. And if you're playing in that position, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. I don't care if you make a 5-yard pass, it doesn't go to a player. But when you've got a player running by the side of you and your other mate has to run 20 more yards and make the tackle when you're just watching a guy like that, that's a lack of any desire to play for this team. Sorry, for me, that's a lack of desire. And lack of desire translates into what we saw yesterday.
Well, I think if you remember his quote when he joined, he said he wanted to play for a Champions League club, didn't he? So
yeah. Sean,
these are the sort of things.
Your take on the front three. What did you make of that front three? Should Johnson have been on the right with Richarlison up top and Son on the left?
Well, I've always said that, you know, why doesn't he try, if he's going to play those three, why not put Johnson and Kulu on their natural sides and get them to go wide? If that's the, you know, the archetypal and goal. I understand when we said earlier that it was you know, he likes to, you know, ping it across the 6-yard box. At Celtic, he also used to ping it to the back post, or to the back of the area. But would you trust any of our midfielders to score from the back from 18 yards?
No.
I mean,
absolutely not. I
mean, Bissouma, it will go. You know, it will probably be down the, you know, in the River Mersey. Sar's the only one who has got a shot on him, but I mean, the guy's been asked to do so much, and I do think Bissouma is, you know, his influence on Sar is. I worry about that, to be honest. I think Sar's a really, you know, potentially a good player, but I do worry.
You need good professionals around him, doesn't he, Sean? He needs proper professionals around him. And I thought Bissouma at least would show him that. We saw a bit of it, but you can't have that. I can't have that as an example. And like I said, if you see that, watch that again. It's terrible. It's awful. It's awful.
So yeah, once he picked that front three, to answer your question, I just looked at it. I thought, oh no, this is, you know, again, you add that on top of the left back choice, the same midfield from Thursday night, who were, you know, run legless, and then that, and I just thought, no, I don't. I was under the impression that Van Dijk wasn't going to play. When I saw him playing, I thought, oh my God.
No, we saw him play.
No. Son is never a back to goal number 9.
Ever.
Nope. Never.
Ever. But you said, and sure, you know that. You know, they would have known that Van Dijk was playing. They've got enough inside information to know that Van Dijk was playing. So it could have been a very simple switch. Just change it around. If you didn't want to break up that front three, just change it around. Put Kulishevsky to the left, put Son to the left. You could even play Kulishevsky as a false 9 and put Brennan Johnson to the right. Then after a while, if it wasn't working, then you could make the sub and put Richarlison on. But to know that, again, maybe I'm doing too much.
If I speak, I will be in trouble.
That's a great quote.
Right, bring the subs on. Bring on the subs. So
sorry, Sid, sorry.
61 minutes. Obviously, he took off Emerson, he took off Bentancur, and he took off Kulusevski, and he brought on obviously Skip, Maddison,
one more after this,
and Richie, and then the final substitution was Giovanni. Don't bring the next one on yet. That's fine. No, that's fine.
I'll go back.
Right.
Sorry.
So that's that, right? I think Maddison, when he came on, had a decent game. Again, sorry guys if you're going to hate me for this, but the guy who went to the game said Maddison, he thought, had a decent game when he came on. He said he's still lacking that quality, but he said, has he been injured? He goes, obviously he's been injured, but he said he done quite well when he came on. He was getting at the players, and he said he made some good, you know, contribution, but he said you can still tell he's lacking. Lo Celso, I think, should have started from the beginning, in my opinion, but this is a player that we want to keep at the club. We're going to make sure we're going to give him a new contract. But hey, fuck this. We're not going to play him. But let's keep him at the club. So at least he got a bit more than 7 minutes, 5 minutes. Darius, the contributions, then obviously we knew Richarlison got man of the match in the 29 minutes or 30 minutes that he played. Crazy, isn't it?
Crazy. Subs were all right, I guess. Skip, good. Charlison, good. Lo Celso should have started. Matters was all right, good. But it was a bit too late, wasn't it? I'm not going to keep writing on about it. We've had a long conversation about it. But it was just a bit too late. It was a bit too late. Maybe even the lineup to start with wasn't right with, Emerson and stuff. But again, he was kind of... No, what if we had saw Skip starting left back, I think we would have said something, even though Emerson is that bad.
Of course we would have.
Of course
we saw the experiment and it's actually kind of worked. So now maybe if he does decide against Burnley, might start Skip.
But had he started Skip left back, we would have said, hold on a minute. But at least we'd have he knows that Emerson's not the one.
Yeah, no,
that's what I'm saying.
But I'm just being I'm being honest with myself. If I saw Skip starting left back, I'd have been like, what are you doing, mate? Yeah. What are you doing? So I can't get onto Ange for doing that. But yeah, just
if you started Kulishevsky left back, would you have said something?
Somebody said that.
Because I think, again, we're not we're talking about left back. Listen,
I hear
the
it.
reason why Skip can play left back,
you're right.
The reason why Skip can play left back in our system is because they're not fullbacks.
They're inverted.
In midfield. They're inverted. So Skip is a midfielder by trade. He's played on left and right hand side of a front two in the midfield. So I don't suspect he has a problem being able to do that. He's also very good at getting across the ground. Not the most athletic, but certainly knows how to defend because he's done that as a number 6 playing for Norwich the whole season. So that's not really a massive gamble to see how he plays there for 25 minutes. I don't believe. Because you can play a midfielder. You could possibly even play someone who's got that. Kulishevsky could have played that position. I don't mind him not having the defensive capabilities because Udoki doesn't. And we can have uncomfortable conversations about Porro on the other side. Doesn't have the defensible capabilities that we want as a defender because he's not playing defense in our team. The other big thing that I heard on a podcast, and it really dawned on me when I heard it, was like Maddison isn't used to playing in a team where he's got lines of 2 banks of 4 against him. He's used to a team where he's having to be, the team that's probably got the lines of banks of 4 being in Leicester. Do you know what I'm saying? When he was in the Premier League. And the other thing is as well, because of that, maybe he hasn't got the ability to break all those teams down like what we think.
I've seen Maddison do it though. He
has, but on a consistent basis. Yes, I've seen Maddison do it, but I haven't seen him do it on a consistent basis. I don't watch him like that. But the first 10 games, nobody really knew how we were playing, so we could get away with it, and that everybody was hyped up about it. After he came back from his injuries, it was set in stone about how we play. And it was also set in stones about how the other team should play to get a result against us. And it's not to be open and play back and forth like basketball. It's to play a transitional game. Maybe that he's struggling with that. I don't know.
So 4 on the bounce now. 4 defeats on the bounce. And then obviously the next game this weekend is against Burnley, who are fighting for survival. But it's down to Spurs, obviously, to show up. So on that count, guys, let's have your final thoughts on yesterday's performance. And I've got one more slide.
Before you do that, Sid,
go on.
Let's have a look at this question.
Oh yeah, if we miss out on Europe, would you feel the same, panel? Would you
about what?
If we miss out?
If we missed out on Europe, what completely? Like if Man U and Chelsea went above us,
Chelsea,
I wouldn't care. It'd be a bit sad, but I wouldn't care. To be honest with you,
I wouldn't care if we missed out on Europe. I'd care about.
You would only care because the fans would.
I think Michelle, I don't want to I think she was saying, would we feel the same about Ange? No. I would still be like, don't want him sacked. Give him the same time. I think the only reason people would be afraid, would be not afraid, but would be angry or sad is because their Chelsea friends and Man United friends would take the piss out of them because they've had horrible seasons. But it's not really going to affect us if we finish 5th or 7th this season. I'll be honest with you. As that second half unwound, I was turning around to my friend Tom. We were watching the game in the pub, and I said, "We're going to miss out on Europe."
You really think?
And he said, he said, no. And I said, I'm going to hold you to that because this.
You really think, Sean?
I think we're going to miss out on Europe.
I hear it.
I think we're in a slump, and I don't know how we get out of it. And Burnley will be coming, possibly with a chance to claw their way out of the bottom three.
If I were Burnley,
I hear it.
Yeah.
And if you were at that cup match against Burnley and you saw how we struggled to beat them 1-0, and it took an absolute banger from Porro to do it in the end, I'm not confident about us beating Burnley. I really am not confident about us playing Burnley, and I think that's on the players, not necessarily on the manager.
Yeah, but didn't Burnley...
To answer Michelle's question, I would feel the same, that we need to keep Ange and build and build and build. But it's something we need to take cognizance of.
Yeah,
I hear it, Sean. I hear it, mate. I can't lie to you. It's not a crazy thing to say. It would be, would be horrible for a lot of people, because a lot of your friends, I'm not talking to my friends, but a lot of people would get embarrassed because Man United and Chelsea have had respectively horror seasons.
Again, this is the point. If we miss out on Europe from this point now, had you said that at the start of the season, I wouldn't have had a problem with it, because I don't think we need to be in Europe for us to be building a squad that he needs to build. The less games we have, the more time he's got to be able to build. The more games we've got, the less time he's got, and the more players that we're going to see play. And unfortunately, we don't have a squad that's deep enough to be able to play in Europe, to play domestic trophies, and to play for the league. We've seen what's going to happen. I think if we miss out on Europe this season, questions will be asked. I don't want him to go, but questions will be asked, because it means we'd have to have lost.
We've lost 11 games this season, I think.
We've lost 11 already, and Man United have only lost 12. Put that into context. Put that into context. Chelsea have lost 11 games, the same amount of games as us, 7 points behind us. And how much grief that they've been getting all season. Yeah. Again,
we could draw against Burnley.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't help us.
How many points are we 6 ahead of Chelsea?
We need to win. We need to beat Burnley and Sheffield United.
Because we ain't beating Man City.
I think
because we ain't beating Man City. And I can't even be confident that, as someone who travelled to Newcastle when we were on the last day, at Newcastle that went down to 10 men and beat us, Musa Sissoko inspired 5-1. I could see an on the beach performance of Bramall Lane.
Sean, why have you said this?
4 points behind.
Honestly,
I can hear it. I hear it.
We need to win those 2 games, Burnley and Sheffield. We need to win them.
I hear it.
I can't trust these players at the moment to win them.
We're 4 behind. We're 4 ahead of Newcastle, 6 ahead of Chelsea. And these are the next 3 fixtures. Sam, if you just bring on the next slide, this is the.
God!
Oh, you've gone and done this to us, Sid. What are you doing, Sid? Why are you doing this, Sid, to us?
No, that was me. It was me that brought the question up.
He's making everything more painful for us.
Anything
I don't
else?
like you.
Our next 3 fixtures are obviously upcoming. 11th of May, Burnley at home. 14th of May, Manchester City at home. And 19th of May, Sheffield United away. We're not gonna discuss this any further, because
if that ain't 6 points,
I'm saying it should be 6. I'm banking on 6 points. Let me just listen. Let's not talk about this.
We'll win the last 2 games. I don't think we'll win the last 2 games. I think
Sean might be onto something. I think Sean might be.
I don't think we'll beat. We're not going to beat City playing like
we're
this.
Not beating City,
why are we going to beat Sheffield United on the last day of the season when nothing matters? Nothing matters to us. It probably matters more to Sheffield United because they're not going to be in the Prem next year.
I think Sean might be onto something.
Let me just say,
we need 6 points to be guaranteed Europa League.
I think we're all right, guys. You listen. Let me just show you something. Yeah, that the manager said or done on Sunday after the Liverpool game. That's what he done to the Tottenham fans after the game on the pitch.
But if they did that to Emerson, there's nothing in there.
No,
so
I think listen, we'll talk about this at another point.
What was that supposed to mean?
I think he's saying. I think it's after the game. He's gone to the Spurs fans and he's just gone that. So I think what he's probably saying to the Spurs fans is, I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I'm thinking he's saying to the Spurs fans,
don't lose your head.
Yeah, don't lose your head.
Think about it.
Think about it.
Mentality. It could be interpreted. I think there was a series of gestures, to be honest, Sid.
Yeah, there was.
I think he went. He pointed to the went this, and then he went like that. So
that's it.
Have faith. I don't know. Please have faith.
Could be. But this coming from David as well. These players.
I think it was just a thank you to the fans for sticking with them. I mean, you could actually hear them singing when we were 4-0 down.
Yeah. And this coming from David, these players have been on the training ground all season. So why out on the pitch? None of them are on the same page when it comes to interactions when passing the ball. I think this is a cracking quote. You're training all season. You're doing whatever you're doing in training. We're not doing defensively. So why, when they come out on the pitch, are they just?
I think it's down to quality. I think it's just down to quality, really.
It's crazy, isn't it? Crazy.
Purely down to quality.
So, final thoughts then, Sean.
Well, I had to bring Michelle's question in because it stood out like and it had to give him the thoughts I was going through. Now that was probably at 4-0 yesterday. I was saying that we could lose those games. I've seen Spurs for too long to not have those doubts. But I'm going down to the game on Sunday. Saturday, sorry. And I just want us to I want to see 3 goals in the Paxton Road end just for you, Sid,
I'm not there.
And, you're not.
No, I'm not there
That's
either.
Just made it 10 times worse.
I'm not at that game either. I'm going to City, but as I said, I'm not getting Burnley.
Yeah.
But can you imagine we don't like you just said, Sean, we don't necessarily have to beat Burnley, but if we got a draw, and I say no, that's the wrong.
No, we have to beat Burnley.
I phrased it wrong for myself. Yeah. I said we might not beat Burnley is what I should have said, and if we get a draw, we ain't beating City. Nope. And there's no way on the last day of the season that Tottenham are going to pull it out of their bags to go up to Sheffield to get a result when they don't need to. So again, Burnley, other than a win, we're going to be in a real shaky season. End real shaky.
I might, you know what? If we do lose or draw to Burnley and then lose to City, I might try to see if anybody wants to give me that Sheffield United away ticket because that ain't far for me. That ain't too far for me.
Listen, I'm gonna wrap it up now, but before we wrap it up, Sam,
wrap it up, fam.
I just want this is just a message. This is just a message.
Mic drop.
To all the toxic fans out there on all the social medias that are going for Ange and they want him out and they're not saying he's not good enough, this, that, the other. Sam, can you just bring up the next slide? Because I just want to show people this next slide. Yeah. And after 35 games in the Premier League, this is how many points each manager had. 50 Arteta, 58 Jurgen Klopp, and 60 points Postecoglou. So this is after 35 games with all the injuries we've had, with whatever. Keep faith in the manager. Let him do what he wants to do. This is his first season in the Prem. Let him do what he has to do. We then assess him after season 2, season 3. Like you said, Darius, like you've both said, I am not Ange out. I am not having a go at him. I will have a go at him for his decision making in games, tactical, whatever he does. Yep. But I do not want this guy at the club. 60 points after 35 games.
That's great. That is great. But we have spent a lot of money this summer, and I don't think those guys did spend much. We have spent money this summer.
I personally, my final thoughts, and I'll be quick on my final thoughts. If you flip the season around and turned it on its head, had we ended the season like how we started it,
it'd be great.
And had the beginning, I think everything would be cool with the same amount of points. I think everybody would be like, looking at this and saying, we've seen the improvement, fantastic. It's just that it's been flipped around. And what I think we didn't realize is, and I'm guilty of it, I thought, oh, right, it all works in that first 10 games. But again, if I'm doing the same thing that Angie's doing here, think about it. Teams didn't know how we were going to play. They didn't know these players playing in certain positions. They didn't really know that, even if they'd watched him in Scotland, know that he was going to play that way. He hadn't seen it in the Premier League with us. But now they have. So this is what I'm saying. From this point onwards, and this goes into next season, we have to see whether or not we get the better players in that's required. And also, is Ange going to be adaptable to certain situations if he doesn't? Because if he doesn't get enough players in to be able to play that quality system, we're going to be here next season doing exactly the same thing.
This summer, as always, like we always say, transfer window is going to be interesting because we all know now, everyone knows, every club knows, every manager knows the Ange way, the way Ange plays. We haven't got them players to play that way. I'm sure he's already made a list of all the players that he wants that can play his system, and he's already said he's getting angry. Let's see if the man up there is going to actually back him and give him the money to go and get the players that Ange wants to play the system that he wants. Because if he's making claims about winning the title, doing this, that, the other,
challenging, he said. I'll give him his dues. He didn't say winning it. He did say challenging.
Then he has to have the backing. So let's see what Daniel Levy does. Listen, on that note, Sam, Sean, Darius, thank you very much for joining me for the reaction show. Thank you to everyone in the comment section. We have had a lot of you. Thank you for all your contributions. Andy Nguyen, David Clarkson been in the house, Jews Nuts as well, Jay Ashraf, Brenny K74, Talking Ball, Dirty Sanchez, Luca AFC, Michelle Dane, Dino Dinosaur, JJ, everyone that's in there. Thank you very much. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you smash it, follow us, give us a massive liking. As always, there might be a talking point at some point this week. We'll be back for the preview for the.
I think Jews Nuts said there needs to be uncomfortable conversations 100. That's what he said in one of his.
We're only at 4.
We've got 3 games to go from 4 to 100, and I swear down, I'm sure Sam, you can do that.
We'll be doing 24-hour broadcasts.
Absolutely. Listen, wherever you are. Yeah, what's Andy saying here? Our club is finishing. We COYS this season. Our club is finishing. I don't know what that means, but yeah. Wherever you are, hope you have a great week. At the end of the day, we're Spurs fans through and through. We go through it all, and we all do it together, all together now, once and for all. But have a great week. Enjoy. And as
mentality, boy.
Come on, fans. Doing some of this. We got to do
That's where your brain is.
Come on,
till the next game, until the pre-reaction on Sunday. All I'm gonna say
Temple
is
lobes.
Absolutely. And then next week we'll be on going that, you know that thing, heads gone. But listen, thank you everyone. Have a great week, like I said to everyone, and make sure you follow us. Make sure keep a lookout for the streams coming soon. And as always,
and don't forget to share this with your Spurs friends as well.
Yeah.
Come on, you Spurs!
Good grief.